I misspoke in the Hellship episode. Cosmo's home spaceship was destroyed, not her home planet. Sorry about that. Welcome to Deep Dive Zone, where I get obvious facts wrong. My name's Devin, your host, joined by my co-hosts Lauren and Bruce. And guys, today we got some more Sonic X Space episodes.
Oh boy.
These might be a little better.
Some parts of them, yes. In fact, one in particular. Well, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
The first one we're starting with here is episode 67, The Black Trap, or Teasing Time. The crew of the Typhoon is under immense stress after a 12-hour string of Metarex alerts. Black Narcissus seizes this opportunity to lure them into a trap. It is really hard to say another S word after Narcissus.
There's so many S's.
Technically one of them is a C, but yes.
Well, S sounds.
Yeah. We start off with a diary from Cream, of all people.
I don't know, of all the characters, she's the one I'd expect to be keeping a diary.
Her or Amy, I guess it's just like, she's
Yeah.
like 6 years old, and she's, some impressive writing skill.
I mean, some 6-year-olds are good at writing.
I mean, as we see here, she also has the skill to operate, like, shields on the
starship.
ship.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she's been helping fly a spaceship, so it's not that crazy.
Yeah. Well, she knows all the jargon. She knows how to make maneuvering callouts. She might as well be in the Navy.
Vanilla is a very skilled homeschooler, I guess. Especially for military technology.
I guess so.
But yes, we've been trapped in a 12-hour survival situation with Metarex supposedly left and right. I don't know if that means they've been fighting them exactly, or just that the alarms are going off because they're all around.
Yeah, to me it sounded more like the alarms kept going off. They kept getting, like, tracked down by the Metarex.
And case in point, we see... This is our first real look at the Metarex universe, region of the galaxy, whatever it is.
Okay, they change... I think it's the next episode. They start using Metarex Galaxy, which makes more sense.
But it's almost entirely black. There's barely any stars visible.
Yeah, they must... They're probably in a void.
It's like the ship is cast in black shadow. The only lights around are cast from other Metarex ships.
Mm-hmm.
And they say something like they're trapping us into a specific course, so I guess they're like kind of blockading them almost.
Yeah, they seem to be making them go in a specific way for whatever reason.
Yeah. And they reveal to us that this is the domain of Black Narcissus, who he's definitely he's not like Zelkova last episode. He has this very calm, sort of wispy speech about him.
Yeah, they're going from brawn to brains.
Yeah.
I suppose so. So he's like, it's all according to my plan, or whatever.
All according to Keikaku.
In all of this, they encounter a moon, actually, that has been so racked with explosive fire and craters that you can't really recognize what it was.
It's been heavily orbital bombarded.
Yeah. They're like, should we mercy kill this rock? I don't know if it has life on it, but...
Yeah.
But what they discover is that it is host to a ton of artificial Chaos Emeralds.
Now that's something they should be destroying.
Or at least concerned about, yeah.
Yeah.
But after they do this, Narcissus sends them a text message. He's like, hey guys, join my Discord server. No, he personally invites them because his base is on that thing.
Right.
And they're like, I wonder what to do with this. And, Cosmo's the one reading and translating all this, but there's also a PS that she reads but doesn't tell the others about.
It is incredibly obvious that she's hiding it. But I'm glad that that's kind of the point, because Chris does pick up on that.
Yeah, Chris immediately picks up on that.
I think that Chris,
this is
as
a
an
good
outsider
example of
to the
him.
group, it makes sense that he would be the one to be skeptical and notice, and Cosmo, similarly, I think, would be very bad at lying. So,
fair, yeah.
And case in point, yes, Cosmo goes and steals Amy's ship to go there herself.
Incredibly stupid move, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she should just be honest with them, like, at this point.
Well, I'm just saying, leaving on your own, this can only go well.
Ah, yes, as we've seen.
Yeah, you only get to leave on your own if your name is Sonic, or maybe Knuckles, but then you'd still need to know exactly what you're supposed to do, and Knuckles often doesn't. Which, is ironic because the ship's the one that gets missiles launched at them. Apparently, the invitation was meant to lure them into a false sense of security.
What a surprise.
Yeah, what else is new?
Or was it? It's really weird because the missiles are in fact just dummies that act as a smokescreen. So I guess the
Yeah,
whole
the
point
missiles.
was getting Cosmo over here.
Yeah, it is.
This must be supremely confusing for the crew that's not Cosmo. But she lands on the base, and Narcissus greets her directly, and he informs her, "Hey, all this is a trap, and you're my hostage."
Again, stupid move, walking right in.
Yeah.
What exactly, like, does it say exactly what the PS was? It's just
I
like...
believe they say later in the episode when Tails actually runs it through his translation program, which, you have a translation program for a reason.
Yeah, it's like secret knowledge about her people or something, right?
Something like it. I don't think it's outright said. It's just kind of, or maybe it is.
I mean, it's half smart because Cosmo's like, oh, I can just read it. I don't need to pull up the translation.
Right.
But the problem is that she's like, oh, wait, there's something else. I mean, actually, there's nothing else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's nothing. It's like it. Yes, it's smart to have Cosmo use her ability to read Metarex script, but you should still be using the translation software to get all of the information.
Yeah. I mean, depending on how the software was made, and depending on how much Cosmo knows of the language, her interpretation may be more accurate.
Well, okay, to be fair, I assume it's more accurate than Google Translate.
In any case, yeah, so this whole thing was a big stupid trap, but as it turns out, yes, Chris has come along with Cosmo, and I want to note, he directly compares her leaving everybody behind to him fucking everyone over as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting character development there.
I think "don't be like me when I was a stupid child" is good advice. Almost no matter who says it.
Well, especially coming from Chris, we got to directly see how stupid he was as a child.
Yes,
it is definitely an improvement, but he's still being overconfident here to think, oh well, I have everything prepared in case something goes wrong.
It's a dumb thing for him to play a part because you should have told the others, Chris.
I mean, yeah, he should have, but I don't think we'd have an episode if he did that.
It's okay. We get the return of Chris's signature move, the flashbang, which he uses on. He uses it on Narcissus, but Narcissus knows, he's confident. He just sits there and takes it, and
yeah.
Well, Chris explodes the door to escape, but he just gets attacked and smacked down.
Well, he uses the gun on Amy's ship to blow a hole through the door. Which is the fucking baller move.
Yeah. But either way, it's like, what is the Typhoon supposed to do in this? We can't really get close enough without dying. So we're just firing the Sonic bullet in the base.
Fucking hell yeah.
So Sonic's in there and he's like, oh, the aura of these fake emeralds creeps me out.
Right, they did mention there was something different about them because initially they're like, oh look, the Chaos Emeralds are there. Wait a minute. No, those must be fake emeralds because there's too many of them. But you couldn't distinguish them.
Right, and with Sonic, I guess he can feel that there's something different about them.
He has special chaos privilege.
Well, I mean that's pretty standard for Sonic anyway, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but Narcissus calls him up to the top, and Sonic is trying to keep him monologuing, trying to stonewall him, but Narcissus is like, no, I'm not fucking around, man. Here, take a look at this capsule where your friends are kept. Look at how fucked up your Chris is.
Yeah, I beat him.
Yeah, and take a look at my gold and silver Metarex boys, and oh hey, it's the Dark Sonic moment.
Yeah, it's one hell of a moment. No special transformation scene, just suddenly he's Dark Sonic.
It's funny, because I hear people say all the time that this is a result of Sonic, siphoning energy from the fake emeralds. I just think this is Sonic being really angry.
I figured it was some sort of combination of the two. It was his anger being, amplified by the fake emeralds.
Yeah, I thought it was just like a defective super state almost because
that makes sense.
It seems like he just goes super automatically in this show when there are 7 emeralds around, and when there are much more than 7 fake emeralds around,
there would still be a lot of power, but it's not going to be the same kind of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Short as it may be, it's crazy how this sequence is extremely well remembered and famous among fans, and it lasts for all of a minute or two.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ.
But that's also a credit to, I think it's pretty well done, because you've got good animation, and you've got Kanemaru tearing his lungs out, screaming as he turns these Metarex to fucking dust.
Dark Sonic.
It's cut off so abruptly that I thought that it was like, something weird. We'll plant this seed for later.
If you mean is Dark Sonic in other episodes, then no.
Yeah, I already looked that up.
Unless you want to count Dark Spine Sonic from Secret Rings, and I have to wonder if they took inspiration from that, because they're both, darkified Sonics, and they both have no pupils at their strongest forms.
That is an interesting idea. Kayla was mentioning that the other day.
I just mean that somebody walks in right after this fight and stops and is like, hey, hold your temper, Sonic.
Don't disappoint me.
It makes it seem like Sonic went overboard and he needs to rethink himself or something.
It's true, it does. And it is disappointing to learn that Dark Sonic basically never comes up ever again.
That's so weird. It seems like they're doing something interesting, and then they just drop it.
That's wasted potential. Exactly. They're doing. It seems like they want to do something, but then they just don't do it.
That's part of the reason that I never quite got the hype behind it, because it's a cool moment. But then Eggman shows up and is like, "Hey, don't get in the way of my villain shtick," and then he's just back to normal.
It's like, that's it. That's all I get of Dark Sonic.
It's weird that Eggman is the thing that soothes the savage beast here, by the way.
Just Eggman saying, "Don't disappoint me, Sonic," because he was just letting into his just pure carnal rage.
I'm surprised too that that's all it takes.
I would assume it would be like Amy or Tails.
When Eggman walked
non
in,
sequitur, because it's not the Avatar state, where you need where you need Katara to hug you and tell you that it'll be okay.
Right.
Anywho.
Also, Eggman stepping in and just saving the day, no strings attached. That's weird.
That's such a weird moment also.
It's super weird, because Eggman shows up and he's like, yeah, Shadow and Rouge already saved Chris and Cosmo, and Rouge literally makes a meta joke about how abrupt all of this is and how little screen time she got.
It's like, if you're gonna do that, show it to us.
And it's crazy because, you completely undercut all of the Metarex by having Black Narcissus get grabbed by Deco and Boko, and Bokun kicks him across the room like a ragdoll.
Yeah, what the heck? Since when have these three been so competent?
It goes from a really cool scene to really lame.
Did they think that kids would be freaked out by Dark Sonic, and they're like, we need a weird slapstick ending?
Let them be freaked out by Dark Sonic. I feel like that would be the point.
Yeah,
I was freaked out for a hot second. I thought he was gonna.
I didn't know what he would do, and then just oh no, Sonic, don't be a fuckhead.
This is my whole thing, is that, my one problem with Super Sonic has always been that there's no real strings attached to it. And if you leaned into something like Dark Sonic or the Sonic the Comic version of Super Sonic, where Sonic can be strong but in a way that makes him a danger to others, that would be cool as shit. They never do that, though.
It is just Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan very rarely has any strings attached.
No. Well, here's the thing, is this is actually a game series originally. And in the games, there are strings attached. Your rings drain over time. I don't understand why that's just not a thing in other media. Why is it not time limited?
I think it's hard to portray that, other than just literally just putting it on Sonic has 5 minutes to beat the big bad.
Yeah, because then any amount that you're going over or under becomes weird.
Actually, for this show, that would make perfect sense, because Super Sonic fights are always so short.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to change much.
And in the games, Super Sonic is also your reward for completing various tasks. So
right.
Yeah, so weird episode. It's like you build up all of this intrigue, you have the Dark Sonic as your climax, and then you peaked way too early, and then Eggman's like, sup, fuckers, and just completely derails the whole thing.
That was a good Eggman. That was a funny Eggman.
I don't know what that voice is supposed to be.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
So yeah, interesting to say the least, but
sure, yeah.
Baffling decision-making process.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of infuriating, and then it was interesting, and then it was infuriating again.
Yeah.
That's the name of the show, honestly.
Kind of.
But you know what? I would say that's mostly not the case for the next episode. Episode 68, Above a Destroyed Planet, or A Revolutionary Tale. Team Eggman encounters a gang of revolutionaries fighting the Metarex above a destroyed planet with a Chaos Emerald reading. After Shadow helps them out, he and Rouge dig further into the history and conspiracies of this faction.
I'm so glad you didn't spoil what this faction was in your summary. Anyway.
Yes, this is one of the Sonic X episodes that like fans and evangelists for it remember. And, you know, like that Knuckles episode from before, it's a good sign that none of the regular cast are in this one. It's all on the Eggman side.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. It's definitely an interesting episode.
I'm so glad that we get an Eggman focus. I mean, it's the whole Eggman team, but
I mean,
more Shadow
getting
than Eggman, but that's okay.
It is definitely more Shadow, but
Eggman has stuff to do.
Yeah, that's kind of feels like it's implying Eggman isn't really in the episode. He's definitely in the episode.
Yes. So we start with Rouge taking another hot gloves on bath, entire
sexy.
outfit on bath.
Sexy.
Continuing to torment Bokun, but who cares about that? I don't care about that.
I just don't like it.
It doesn't even matter this episode.
I know.
Cut to Eggman, who is, monitoring things out in space, and hey, there's a space battle going on. There's some Metarex, and there's some humans.
I was absolutely shocked by this. I was like, what? Humans?
Yeah.
In the Mobius universe? Must be Colin's group of overlanders that left a long time ago.
Oh god, where's Hope, Where's Lady Agnes?
There's a different Maria stand-in in this episode, actually.
It's true.
Yeah. Also, the SA2 Biolizard cutscene music plays here for some reason.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
This is like one of the...
odd.
This is the second time that any game music gets used in the show, in the Japanese version, and that's very odd. And it happens more after this. It's kind of a stark contrast, because the show's usual OST is very synth-heavy and kind of cheap-sounding.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, whoa. But Eggman's like, oh, Shadow, you should go help those guys.
For some reason.
And, well, honestly, it doesn't go very well. A lot of them still die.
Well, I don't get why Eggman was like, yeah, you gotta go help them.
The Metarex are bastards. Eggman doesn't really want to be on their side right now.
Well, yeah, but Eggman, if anything, Eggman should be trying to act more as, like, a neutral third party.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did try to kill him, so...
It makes sense that he would attack Metarex, and as it turns out, ingratiating himself with these people does pay off. So
it does pay off, but it kind of feels more like he was sending Shadow to go help them, as opposed to just go kill the Metarex and then we'll fuck off.
Yeah, case in point, Shadow does save this one woman named Molly, who is she the leader of the fleet?
Yes, she is the leader of or at least the group.
But yeah, she's, very, very thankful for the help. They touch down on what's left of her world. It's basically just a collection of rocks at this point.
Yeah, it's just a mud ball. It's
Metarex de-lifed that thing a long time ago.
Yeah. That does show that even without the planet egg, these planets can still sustain life for a long time, or seemingly a long time.
Some amount of life, but we'll see soon that the revolutionaries are not doing well.
No, they're not.
Also, there's a Chaos Emerald here.
Yeah. This is when
that's the important. That's the important thing. Honestly, fuck the rest of this planet.
See, I don't know if Eggman thought that maybe there's a Chaos Emerald around here somewhere, but now certainly there's no question why he's doing this.
Oh yeah, of course.
I guess
now
if he had detected
understand
the emerald before all this, that would have been better.
I guess, yeah.
But Shadow keeps thinking about all the Maria stuff because of course he does, and he's clearly already viewing this woman as a stand-in for her.
Mm-hmm.
He's standoffish as always.
Right. Yeah.
But
he's just as prickly
Shadow never wants to let you know he cares. But Eggman, meanwhile, is living it up, taking the rewards for the help he provided.
Oh, of course.
I made the joke earlier, but this is more and more like Colin's group just welcoming him in.
Well, yeah, honestly, huh?
I mean, he did genuinely help them, whereas, Archie Eggman irradiated and killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But, yes, he is very happy to take the rewards. He's just, he loves the food, he loves the praise. Everybody loves the jolly fat man, thinks he's great. Except for this twink here named Leon, not the one from Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's a different twink.
He's more skeptical, but he seems to be a little bit close with Molly. Maybe there's something going on there. I don't know. But Shadow and Rouge get information about the Chaos Emerald in an old mine, and Leon's like, "Oh yeah, Molly, you should. I've got some special files there. You should go get them."
Jesus Christ.
Well, Eggman is like, "Oh, Chaos Emerald, can I have it?" And they're like, "Sure, why not?"
I guess to be fair, they don't. I don't think they really care about a Chaos Emerald. I don't think
when
they
I say
know.
Shadow and Rouge get the information, I mean Eggman gets the information and tells them to go get it. Yeah.
Right. These people have no reason to care about a Chaos Emerald, so of course they just be like, "Yeah, sure, take it."
It's really unclear what the perception of the emeralds is across space. So yeah.
It appears a lot of the time they've just kind of shown up.
Yeah. But all of us are traveling now. Shadow can go fast. Rouge is riding in the ship with Molly. Get a little bit of exposition about how they're losing their war against the Metarex. I wonder if the Metarex are just running like several consecutive wars against various planets at one point.
I would assume so.
And as she explains that they're all losing morale, they play the fucking Sonic Adventure 1 House of Mirrors music from Twinkle Park.
All right.
Strange.
Again,
Yeah,
really weird sudden game usage.
Yeah, that's definitely odd.
And Rouge is like, "Oh, you guys are gonna die here. You should just run away." And Molly's like, "No, I'm all in on the pride. My pride will outlive me mindset." Also, they get attacked by some fish between these. Are those Metarex fish? I don't know.
I don't think so. They kind of vaguely resemble those like fish Metarex we saw earlier.
They don't look very robotic, though, is the thing.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure they're just fish.
So, yeah, another example of maybe this planet is supporting some sort of life. Who knows?
Well, it does support some life. It's just a matter of how much of that life is still around.
Yeah. But all of that going on, they finally make it to where the emerald is, and it's like, "Oh, Leon gave me this key, I'll get the files inside." Oh, those
Boom.
aren't files.
Those are bombs.
It's a fucking bomb.
Mm.
Led you into a trap.
Oh.
And Shadow, Chaos controls him out of there, or maybe just runs, I don't remember.
He does Chaos Control.
And, just barely gets him out of there before the Metarex show up. And, Leon was a traitor. He struck a deal with Bayleaf to get Eggman.
It sounds honestly like all of them except for Molly are traitors.
Well,
yeah, they're all in on it.
Yeah, they all want to just go join the Metarex, which...
It's an exchange. We'll give you Eggman in exchange for us living.
Right, which... you really think the Metarex are actually gonna follow through on that?
Oh. Don't strike a deal with any villain in any cartoon, I think is the answer.
Yeah.
To be fair, we don't actually get to see what would have happened. We don't. The Metarex don't get a chance to.
Yeah, we don't get to see
go back on their deal. But I am surprised that it's the humans that betrayed Eggman, not the other way around. I really thought that was how it was going to go. So it's a nice subversion.
I don't think Eggman would work with the Metarex.
No. I just mean I thought when Eggman came to this planet, oh, he's going to steal stuff from them or something. I don't know. I know what it was going to happen. Yeah, screw them over because he's Eggman,
gotcha.
but they screwed him over.
Yeah, fair.
Well, maybe he was planning to do that. They just beat him to the punch.
That's entirely possible.
It's still a nice subversion either way.
Yeah, and it's it's like Molly is flying back to her comrades, leaving the others behind. And it's like they're in a bad situation. She's in a much worse situation because she's the only one not going along with this.
Right.
And as she's flying, she's like, essentially lying to herself. She's saying, "No, I can change their minds to keep fighting the war, but all of them collectively turned on you," which is ugh.
That's very
not a good odds for her. And
not really.
Shadow and Rouge are both like, "Nah, she's not. I don't think she's really operating on a level of thinking that she's gonna get out of this okay." And obviously, the deal doesn't even end up being honored. Eggman does not end up being given up, so Bayleaf is not helping them for shit. So it's, obviously not going well for anybody, but Molly gets back there, and yeah, nobody wants to bother. They all just give up.
Eggman pulled out another E-series.
Oh yeah, he pulled out E3000 just out of his ass.
Oh.
I thought we were still earlier in the episode. I'm like, how does that work?
I completely forgot about that.
Okay.
Eggman...
Not blowing them up, mind
Eggman
you.
pulls out a mech to help, yeah, but it does inhibit things more than ever, and
Yeah.
well, there's only one way that that can go if she's not going to side with the other humans. Which is to say, she fires directly at the Medirec's mothership, and Shadow is like, shit, and he tries to get as close as he can, and is too slow. She fucking dies. She explodes. Her ship is reduced to nothing. That got cut out of the dub, by the way. I hope you know, Lauren.
That's a shame, though, because that really makes the Maria parallel that much stronger, doesn't it?
It does, kinda.
It does. Molly fucking explodes, and it's...
Yeah.
You know, now the use of the SA2 piano, that actually makes sense here, which they do.
Sure.
And, you know, Shadow... Well, Shadow reacts about as well to this as anybody would, which is to say, he casts off the limiter rings and goes shit-hive maggots on the Metarex fleet. There is just nothing left by the end.
He is the ultimate life form.
Dead planet and a shallow grave that 4Kids airbrushed out.
Nice.
Yeah, and in the dub he does say, she's still out there somewhere, which, no, she's not.
Jesus Christ. Wow, I mean, it's not often 4Kids kind of ruins the message of an episode.
You know, a lot of people say this is the best episode of the show, and I don't know about that, but certainly in terms of a Shadow character study, in terms of repeating a lot of what we've seen about the Ark and Maria, you know, if you want to say it says something about fate or about human nature or something, you know, it's something, but to essentially say that, oh, Molly just ran away, you did the opposite of that.
Yeah, Jesus.
So, you know, everybody go subscribe to the Cafe Chaotix YouTube channel and Discord server. They're trying to redub this thing. But, yeah, other than that, good episode? I think it's a good episode.
It's a solid episode. Yeah.
Yeah, so, we're currently, you know, at the same standard set by last week of about half the last episode is good, this whole episode is good. Let's see if the third one is good in episode 69. Nice. Please,
God damn it, I wanted to say that.
Please, comma, Marmolim, exclamation point. Marmolim? Marmalade?
Marmoler.
It's called the Planet of Misfortune in the dub, which is a little more understandable.
That's a bit more on the nose.
The Emerald Radar leads our heroes to the planet of the Marmolim, aliens with a fondness for matchmaking and fortune-telling. While Tails and Sonic work on ways to cure the planet's illness, Cosmo and Amy struggle with their respective romantic feelings.
Oh, God.
And hey, we're back on Earth again! Don't you love Earth?
I mean, as long as we're only here for, like, a couple minutes, I'm fine.
I don't, like, get infuriated at this. I just scratch my head. I'm like, why are they bothering to include these scenes? They aren't relevant.
They're relevant, I guess, in the sense that it's stuff that's happening related to Chris.
Well, the thing is, they don't show up very much. It's like, did you forget that there are people that are missing Chris?
We've had, like, two of them?
I think we had one in the second episode or whatever after Chris had already left. Where they're just you can't follow him. Or whatever.
One seemed like the build up to them sending all that stuff to Chris in the first episode.
Now it doesn't really feel like there's any reason for them.
And then we had another one explaining, you know, a flashback just explaining that Chris has gotten good at inventing stuff. This one, I don't know what the point is.
This does technically link to a single line, but it doesn't. It's not exactly important.
Yeah. So, yeah, now the heroes are not getting any Chaos Emerald readings due to something corrupting their scanners, I don't know, and this is when they start calling it the Metarex Galaxy, not a universe.
Yeah, it was this episode. Makes more sense. Either Galaxy or just call it Metarex Space.
Yeah. In any case, clearly it's not that hard to get Chaos Emerald readings, because they get one right after that. From this nearby meteor, except it's not a meteor, it's a spaceship. And it's full of these weird little aliens called Marmolim, more victims of the Metarex conquest, obviously. And I remember this episode really well, because when I first watched it, these aliens walked on screen, and my dad said, "What the hell happened to those Chow?"
Oh my gosh.
It's fun. My immediate thought was they look like really weird-ass Chow.
We could have just had a Planet of the Chow in space.
Yeah.
Especially since we now know that Chao have alien ancestry, but yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But, they seem friendly enough, but they're stingy about giving up the emerald, not because it's powerful, but because it's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty and they feel safe around it.
Yeah.
This will not be a real problem. They just spend a few minutes on it because comedy, I guess.
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles both fail their skill checks on it. Sonic tries speech, Knuckles tries damage, and neither of them succeeds.
And the DM is like, gosh darn, they have to get the Chaos Emerald, though.
Yeah, they're like, DM's
they'll
like,
just change their mind in a minute.
Sonic, you don't understand. You should have put your points into barter, not speech.
Oh, yes.
But they do make a deal for it in any case, which is you escort us back to our home planet, and then maybe we'll do something. I don't know.
Is that really the way it is in the original Japanese?
Do they say they'll just give them the emerald? I just didn't write it down exactly.
They just say, take us home, we'll give you the emerald.
Oh, that's weird. In the dub, it's like, why are we taking them home if they won't give us the emerald? And then when they get there, they're like, actually, we will give you the emerald.
Okay,
that's fascinating.
Weird. That's weird. But yes, they are going to get the emerald for that. And, well, a big cultural touchstone of this planet is fortunes and, forecasting romances. So you know exactly who is going to be super interested in that.
She is, but have they really gone over Amy's connection to fortune telling in this show at all?
I mean specifically the romance side of this. This is going into her thing for fortune telling and tarot cards and shit.
Yeah, but I don't think the show's really talked about that at all.
That's something that hardly any Sonic material covered until the last decade. I guess Sonic Chronicles has a couple things about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's only mentioned in CD's manual or something, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, if there's any doubt, which there shouldn't be, that Amy is delusional.
That's also true.
She simultaneously thinks that Sonic's in love with her, and yet part of her also realizes that's not true, and thinks, oh yeah, well, I better use a love spell as well, because she must have two minds about this. There's no way to slice that otherwise.
We're getting dangerously close to the Amy's we've talked about a few times. The heroes and battle Amy.
It's kind of amazing how Amy has kind of been on a downward slope in this show.
Yeah.
Because at the start of it, she was mostly rational for the most part. There's probably a bit here and there in some of the first core of the show where it's like, Amy, don't do that. But then it's you get the adventure episodes where she acts more or less accurate to her game personality at the time. And then after that, you get the one where Sonic stands her up on the date where we don't even know exactly how much he agreed to that date, and she's the one, threatening to hurt people if he doesn't come out. And then here we've finally gotten into full-on, Sonic Rush, Sonic Battle Amy, where she's just neurotic and strange.
Yeah, it's...
So, what a shame, as they say.
Uh-huh.
But, yes, Sonic is reticent to touch any of this matchmaking business, and fair enough, because it seems like this world, it's full of fortune tellers and matchmakers and homeopathic medicine. And they love money. They love money. It's a good thing these aliens don't look like racial caricatures, because all of this stuff would be much worse if they did.
Yeah.
But, we go to a number of different people, it's they we do coin readings. Cosmo, you pulled the death coin.
Oh boy.
Of course this is going to mess her up for the entire episode. Usually the death card just signifies change. Here I think they're just using it as a bit of a flag. Although it does signify change. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like Knuckles being told he's too gullible, and then subsequently wastes a bunch of money on a magic towel of anti-gullibility. And by like it, I mean I'm laughing at the fact that the writers are this terrible. Why do you have to be so shit to Knuckles?
Because clearly they fucking hate him.
No, I understand his character fundamentally.
It does seem like it.
Well, I think it's that we know what Knuckles can be, and what SEGA wanted him to be at the time is not that.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically it's me who misunderstands it, but I actually do understand it, I just hate it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we
It's
understand
just a
what
case
Knuckles
of,
should be.
throughout most of the 90s, Knuckles was fine. You know? It's
Yeah,
like Sonic Triple Trouble, I guess you could give him for working with Eggman again, but that's it, you know?
yeah.
Anyway, one of the Marmolim apparently recognizes that Chris has a girlfriend back home, and
Which,
they didn't
Yeah.
say that
yeah.
before.
So this is the bit that I was like, oh, okay. So that was the slight significance to the humans at the start. Because we already observed that, oh, it looks like Chris and Helen might be close somehow. This
Yeah,
seems like confirmation.
yeah.
It seems like they don't actually say that it is Helen, though, right? Like,
No,
they
they
don't
They
say her
don't
don't.
name.
say it overtly.
They don't
But,
exactly. They don't overtly say
but
it, but it feels pretty obvious that's what they're implying.
well,
I
in
mean,
the
I
scene at
assume
the
it's not
start,
just
Helen
like
is like, oh, I
some.
really miss him.
I assume it's
Yeah.
not some unnamed character. So,
Well, that would just be fucking.
Right. I mean, there's only
Yeah.
one candidate we know of, unless they just make somebody up.
there's two. There's also Francis technically, but
I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
in any case, yeah. He should probably be concerned about the fact that he got de-aged by 6 years. That's
It's
not
fine.
going to be fun for your girlfriend.
He'll
But,
be re-aged when he comes back.
let's hope so. They don't know for certain.
I really fucking hope so.
We'll see. In any case, yeah. So Cosmo's feeling down. Amy and Cream try to cheer her up, both about her struggle to relate to non-plant-based life and her ambiguous thing with Tails. But who cares about that? Amy has a diabolical scheme planned.
Oh boy.
That the evil look caught me completely off guard. I didn't realize that they were going to lean this hard into it.
She's gone like actually full psychotic.
It's great. You know,
It's kind of funny,
Amy,
but also like.
Amy and Knuckles are the treated like shit by the writers in the mid 2000s duo.
Fair.
They both hate each other because they hate themselves.
Ah, yes.
I
Clearly.
I don't know if Knuckles hates himself. Amy, you could make the case for Knuckles. Just
Knuckles isn't smart enough.
maybe the Master Emerald is like 60% lead, and he's been getting poisoned this whole time.
Jesus Christ.
Listen, if that's enough to change how certain parts of the United States vote, it could do anything.
Oh God, that's not a. That's yeah.
In any case, yes. So apparently, we saw this kind of before, but the way a planet dies when its planet egg is stolen kind of differs depending on the planet.
Right.
And in this case, it's almost like planetary cancer cells.
Yeah, it's got super cancer.
It's really weird. It's just growing in ways that don't make sense. So, like with any cancer, the hero's solution is to shoot it with a gun.
Hey, that'll cure your cancer and may cure some other things also.
So, what does this mean? Because how do you just cure the lack of a planet egg when you don't have a replacement planet egg?
Sonic's sheer Chad energy cured it.
It's almost like planet eggs are a bit inconsistent in this show.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like the idea of it having different environmental effects because that's variety, but having different solutions, other than replacing the planet egg somehow. If they picked up a different one from some rock that got blown up, maybe the planet from last episode, they found it like floating out in space, the Metarex dropped it or something, and they just shove it in here. That could do something. Maybe it would even change the planet in unexpected ways. That'd be cool. But you just shoot it?
I mean,
There's technically nothing that says that it won't just get sick again.
I
There's
guess.
also
but you're
nothing
not
that
really
says that
solving the
won't
problem.
happen.
But
Maybe it'll just take a while.
I guess.
Just delay it long enough until they get it back from Metarex.
But yeah, you made this giant abscess, and they're like, oh, we're gonna flood all the infected sections of the planet. And I like how before all this, Sonic is like, oh, those prayer charms are hokey mumbo jumbo. But then when they say, oh, they're flooding them. Oh, I need this water resistance charm just for me.
Just in case.
The charm doesn't work, of course, but the Sonic driver does, so. Cosmo sees all of this going on, of course, and Tails comes to tell her, you should not hate yourself or whatever. And then they both trip, and fall into Amy's trap, which is a springboard that launches you into a pool of water, and you look at the moon and it's pretty.
No, so it's a superstition. It was like couples who fall into the water right as the sun or as the sky turns blue or something. They are destined to fall in love or some shit.
Well, I know, but that's what Amy planned it around, but it's like that's your trap, is a springboard that moves you.
Well, yeah, you know.
This is Amy we're talking about.
She's not. Yeah, she's not the most logical, and B, yeah,
Who did she? How did she build that trap? Did she get Tails to help?
nah. Amy can build shit on her own if it involves trapping Sonic.
Yep.
I guess so. She's the one who's built all the spike traps in the classic games. She just wants Sonic to injure himself so she can play out a parody of Misery.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm joking, of course, because that happens in the Sonic Boom cartoon, and it's not Amy who does it, so... In any case, yeah, so Tails and Cosmo fall in the water, and now we're in love, even though we kind of already were.
Well, it felt a little one-sided previously.
Earlier in this episode, they implied that it wasn't one-sided, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
But
and in the Chaotix one, you know, Tails almost calls her beautiful, which I assume is meant to convey that, but doesn't, just because he's nervous.
Anyway, my point is, I think it's pretty obvious that none of the schemes on this planet actually do anything.
Yes, to be clear, I was not saying
obviously
that Amy's thing worked on them. I'm just saying that, like, they encountered a chance moment that made it nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you've moved to the next stage of the romance and the writing, because that's how romances are written.
Yes, now we sit next to each other and hug sometimes.
Oh.
That's tier 2? I don't know.
Yeah, tier 3 is putting your Minecraft beds together.
What about tier 15?
Stay away from that! Do not do tier 15!
Dude, I got no idea what you're talking about.
But, you know, it's funny, because despite being a kid, Tails has almost as many girlfriends as Sonic across the series. It's, like, they're the two characters that get, like, any kind of significant romantic arc. Because I'm thinking, like, you know, Knuckles, it's like Rouge teases him sometimes.
Sure.
And obviously in the comics he has Julie Sue. But it's not like he had much of a thing with Julie Sue before they were relationship. It just kind of happened at them.
Wait, so there was Fiona. Is there something else I'm forgetting, or are there just things I get to look forward
Tails
to?
has Fiona, he has Cosmo here, he has Zoe in one episode of Sonic Boom, and I guess in Archie he has, like, Mina in 25 Years Later, but I don't really count that.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't count. That's just that's a penderism.
Well, just in the sense that I'm saying it's funny because Tails is much younger than Sonic, but has similar this and that. But it's just like, I don't know. It's funny that they tend to skip over a lot of characters and give romantic arcs to Tails. I guess it's because he, as a kid and not that extreme a personality, is more of a projection character for kid viewers, maybe? You know, it's the same reason that Gohan, being younger in Dragon Ball, he and Videl are the only ones whose relationship got any development before it was official. I don't know. But, you know what? I'm happy for him, you know? He and Cosmo, they are at least believable, and, you know, it's funny that we end on Amy getting mad and screaming at them for not being her and Sonic, because I don't believe Amy and Sonic.
It's very weird. The show almost seemed like it was going to be serious about them for a second, and then just realized, wait, that's not how these characters work.
Like, it makes me wonder, you know, exactly what kind of corporate rules, you know, did Sonic X have to follow? Because I bet it had to follow some kind of rules. Maybe not the same ones as the comics, but, you know, it's still a licensed show. Did they maybe have plans to do more and then they were told they weren't allowed? I don't know.
I wonder if they were like, oh, no, you can't put the characters in serious relationships. Okay, but what if we kill one of them? Okay, that's fine.
I mean, you're spoiling, but the show also already spoiled itself, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the episode, and I have no idea if this episode was good, honestly. It made two of the characters that have suffered the most in the show into even more of a living joke, but it also, you know, did decently with the two other characters I care about, and everybody else was just there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not very good, in my opinion.
This show continues to be just a complete mixed bag on almost every level. But that is where we are going to be done for tonight. So, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my co-host for being here. If you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, you can find us in any of the links in the link tree in the description. And if you like this video, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next week for another exciting episode, another probably mixed bag of 3 episodes, if I'm going to be honest.
Yay.
I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great rest of your night. And take care.